Hey, I want to tell you about Moto Brand. Moto Brand was founded during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic when the sport that we live for was taken from so many of us, whether it's cycling or moto. Waking up on a Saturday morning knowing that your local track was closed, there would be no Supercross, and for many of us that we couldn't even hit our favorite local riding spot or trail with our crew. We are forced to be reminded of how much the sport of moto and cycling truly means to us. Moto Brand represents a collection of individuals that not only ride, but live to ride. It's what we think of at all times of the day, and sometimes at a detriment to your relationship with your significant other. It's for those that look at their motorcycle or their bicycle as part of their identity. Maybe it's the way that you bond with your son or your daughter or your spouse. Perhaps it's your way to blow off stress of your day job, or even, hey, it is what it is, maybe even it's your marriage. This sport is more than just a sport. For many of us, it's a way of life. It's what keeps us ticking. It's what keeps us living. Moto Brand was created for a purpose, to be more than just a shirt that you can throw on in the morning, but these designs represent who you are and what you stand for. So I encourage you to head over to the motobrand.com, check out our collection. We have a pedal collection and we have a throttle collection, and there are more designs to come that stand for something. So head over to the motobrand.com and we'll see you there. I want to tell you about something special that Racerx is doing right now. If you go to racerxonline.com/moto marketing, be sure to use our link. You can subscribe and get the Nationals box. This is pretty exciting. Check this out. They have the 2020 Pro Motocross Souvenir Program, print plus digital Racerx magazine subscription. So you get the traditional magazine as well as right to your phone or to your computer. You get the Marty Smith cover poster, 2020 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross sticker, and the 2020 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross t-shirt, and a pretty sweet little collector's national box that it comes in, all for the $50 subscription. You get all that. Pretty sweet. Be sure to go to racerxonline.com/moto marketing and get all the swag.
Welcome to the Moto Marketing Podcast, presented by Racerx, the podcast for moto industry professionals, entrepreneurs, and riders. If you want to grow your brand and business in today's digital-first world, you have to know how to turn a stranger into a fan, turn a like into a customer. You have to know how to turn attention into dollars. This podcast is dedicated to keeping you in the know on real marketing tactics that work in the moto world so that you grow your business and help grow the sport. Get ready to learn from the very same marketing experts trusted by Racerx, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, GNCC, and NBC Sports. They'll help you navigate the world of digital marketing for your moto brand. This is the Moto Marketing Podcast. Presented by Racerx.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Nesler, and we've got another awesome guest for you today. Somebody that when I was a young lad wanting to get into the sport, I got my start with video production. I did the Racerx film festivals. Brian Staley kind of opened that door for me. So when I was young, I looked up to Wes Williams a lot and what he was doing with Vurb Moto, and then it just continued to grow and grow and grow. And now you see all the things they're doing with Red Bull Moto Spy, and Vurb Moto is officially back. So I'm stoked to bring you guys Wes Williams today. Wes, welcome to the show. And
Thanks, man,
it's a pleasure.
I don't know where the music was. Did you forget to cue that or what?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't have that added to the soundboard yet, but we'll get it. We'll edit it in later.
Maybe next time.
Hey, good timing to have you on. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, but then obviously you and your crew kind of broke the news here recently of Vurb Moto is officially back. So definitely want to dive into that. But man, I think dude, you have so much stuff going on at all times with your freelance work and with Vurb. We'll get into that. Let's take a step back. And I mean, it sounds like kind of like me. I mean, obviously passionate about the sport, but then you ended up not just working your way into the sport, but becoming one of, if not the top film producers in moto. Where did that all start? Were you always interested in video, or was it photography and then video was kind of your way in? How did all this start, and when was that?
It's something that started well before dirt bikes for me. Just having a camera as a kid, I just grew up shooting anything and everything, and a lot of times that was skateboarding or terrible bicycle jumps out front of my mom's house. And I think in high school, the technology finally became available to put the footage on a computer, and I started making videos here and there. And then about the same time, I just was falling in love with dirt bikes. So I was able to combine the two, and I had no idea that it was a career path or even something I wanted to do. But I think I was shooting one day and someone offered me, it was like $20 to go get some clips of his kid that day at the track. And I remember like that exact moment being like, wait a second, this could be something I make money at. I was probably 16 years old at the time. And I don't know, I think from that point, it finally clicked that it's something I wanted to chase. I love dirt bikes and I loved filming. And then once the technology became available to put it together on the computer in an efficient way, I don't know that it was something that I dreamed about, but it's just something that kind of slowly fell into place.
Yeah, and I think when you were coming up, the timing was obviously, prime, because that was right when video started to become more and more popular on the internet. I mean, I remember high school, college.
To be fair, there was hardly even internet at the time
right.
for video. Like,
yeah. So you did the Racerx Motocross show and all that stuff on Racerx's channel, like early days, right? And it's very different than how you guys upload now.
Yeah, so even then, though, that was 2007, so technology had come so far. Wow. So when I first started putting videos on the internet in 2002, I didn't know anything about web servers or codecs or anything. So they were like, I'd render it out as Windows Movie Maker or Windows WMV, Windows Movie, whatever. And like I'd upload them to my own server, but then I realized I was just crashing every server that I put it on, because as like Go Creations became more and more popular, the server people would be calling me and be like, "Hey man, you're only paying $15 a month for this hosting. You can't be uploading this shit on here. It's like melting everything we got." Yeah. Because even the first few videos back in 2002 and 2003, and the GPG series back in the day in Georgia, the first video got like 300 downloads, and the next one was like 3,000. Next thing you know, I had like people around the country downloading these local Georgia videos that I was making. But then I was able to find guys in Washington and Connecticut that also started sending me videos. And like, Go Creations was, Vurb before it was Vurb. And we had a small powerhouse of contributors that were able to have a home for their videos that they were making well before YouTube or even Racerx Films existed. That's
crazy. So how did the relationship with Racerx come to be? Was that, did you just knew somebody there at all times, or was it your work got the recognition? Where did that come from?
So in 2002 to like 2004, I was doing my own thing in Georgia and really making a lot of videos locally there. And we started doing In the Ranks movies / DVDs. And Kevin Kelly hit me up. I was at NTF filming with Justin Barsha in 2005, right before Loretta's, for the movie I did, Prospects. And he's like, "Hey man, I got this idea." And I've been talking to Jason Wygant, and I didn't know Wygant at the time, but I knew of him and I knew of Davey. And of course, I'm just like, holy shit, what's the idea? And he's like, "Why don't we do a daily internet show from Loretta Lynn's where you guys go and film the highlights, package it all together. Me and Weege will voice it over at night, and then we'll upload it to the internet the next day." And I remember being like, I have no idea how we're going to do that, but yes, I'm in. Let's figure it out. So we went to Loretta Lynn's in 2005, did MX Sports Center, and that was my first, kind of segue into meeting Davey and that whole crew. And I think, especially at the time, to pull that off technologically was an amazing feat. So, I think I got on Davey's radar then, and even Brian Staley. And from that point forward, they were always saying, "All right, how can we take what Wes did in this formula and continue to build it?" And 2 years later, 2007, we started doing the Racerx Motocross show at the Nationals, because back then it wasn't live on TV. It was tape delayed a week or two, so we were putting out 20-minute highlights the day of or day after the Nationals. So it was something that just spiraled, in control, out of control. Again, no YouTube or anything, so it was pretty crazy that we figured out how to do it all.
Man, I remember literally waiting at the end of the day from when a national would happen for that video to be posted. And it's funny the patience that we had back then compared to now. Like if we don't get something right when we want it, all hell breaks loose. But man, I remember how big of a deal it was when you guys would drop those videos back in the day, and it's crazy how things have changed so much from that to like. I mean, I'd love to get your take on, you know, the Insta bangers and what Instagram content creation has done compared to what you guys, you know, what video used to be. I mean, it's such quick hits that video today is so different. Yeah. Are you a fan of that, or is there like the purest video creator in you's like, it just makes you sick to your stomach?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, as an entrepreneur and someone that wants to run a business, a web business, you got to kind of figure out how to, you know, take and utilize both aspects or all aspects of it. So, you know, Instagram was really coming up when we kind of shut Vurb down back in the day. And I'm kind of glad that we took that hiatus because, you know, that's when Instagram did take over. And I don't think video's gotten the love since then. But I think now it's come full circle. Vurb's coming back at a perfect time that people are yearning for better, longer, more well-produced content than just on Instagram. I think Instagram will always have its place, but I think people will really respect and love having, you know, good shit back. So,
yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I think you take both for what it is. You got to, like, even with Red Bull, we do, you know, such high-end moto spy things, and then we got to clip things down and put it on Instagram. And sometimes I'm just like, what the hell are we doing? Like, we're really taking such an epic product and fizzling it down into something that I'm just like, I don't even want my name on this. But you know, I don't know. You gotta take both with what it is.
Sure.
You know, that's the world that we live in now, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Instagram more so than other platforms has definitely changed the way a lot of us operate. I mean, Josh, our producer behind the camera, I mean, he has to do the same thing. We have a reality series of the e-bike team that we've created, and he follows us around through the GNCC series, and he works really hard and puts together this 20-minute piece, and then Racerx and I ask him, hey, give me a minute clip for us to put on Instagram to
and most likely that's most likely what people are going to watch. They're going to watch the 1 minute clip, and they're like, maybe I want to go watch the rest of the 19 minutes. Or you know what, I got out what I needed in 1 minute.
So I want to talk about Vurb. But there's this like interesting space in between Vurb of old to the resurgence of Vurb and everything that you've done in between there. So you've told the story time and time again of on other podcasts, whether it be you know, Kevin Kelly's or you guys did an extensive one with Jason where you guys were just sitting having lunch, kind of telling the story. So I think everybody knows, like, man, Vurb was popular, it was this thing, but then you guys were working so hard and there wasn't the money and the time invested just didn't make sense. So we've heard that, and I don't want to make you rehash that. What I want to talk about is the resurgence of Vurb. But before that happened, you have, I mean, you're Red Bull's guy when it comes to the motocross reality series that is Moto Spy. That doesn't just happen. How did that come to be to where a media outlet like Red Bull comes to you? And is it just you, or is it you and your team? How did all that come to be? And man, the work you guys do with that series is phenomenal.
Well, thank you. First, it's been a long time coming to get to that point. A lot of building trust with Red Bull and the brand as a whole, and the bosses and you know, the media elites within that company. But it starts well before Moto Spy. Like it even started before Vurb. So Red Bull started, Jeremy Malott started the Red Bull Jams team back in 2007. And he saw what I was doing pre-Vurb with GK Films, Go Creations Online, and then we did Allegiance, and then it turned into Vurb. And he was with Alloy before that, so I think he kind of had his finger on the pulse the whole time, seeing what we were doing. So anyways, when he started this Jams team, he called me up. I didn't know him, and it's like, hey, I want you to start doing these 3-minute videos of our amateur athletes from the amateur nationals. Of course, at the time, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening. Yes. So it was actually back in the MySpace days. So we were making videos from MySpace. But it's crazy. So that slowly evolved into doing those videos. And then in 2011, they hired us to do Road to Loretta's, which led into us doing the signature series for Loretta Lynn's the next year. And then the next year it was live on NBC for Red Bull Signature Series. We built like 40 some odd minutes worth of programming within the live show, which has led to, numerous web series throughout the years, other TV shows. We do a ton of one-off projects. So like you said, luckily I've positioned myself to become their go-to guy for a lot of the motocross stuff. Not all of it, but a fair bit. And, it's not just me. We do have a badass team behind me.
Is it
at
the
one point
Vurb
in time,
crew?
I might have been able to. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what has helped even Vurb back in the day. Like, whether it was me, Danny Stewart, Jason Crane, we'd go to the amateur nationals and we'd be able to utilize the Red Bull money to afford us being there. Like, it costs a shitload of money to bring a 4, 5, 6 person crew to an amateur national for a week. Just food and travel and lodging alone. Not to mention paying everybody. So, a lot of times that Red Bull money is really what allowed us to be there, or even Racerx. Like, a lot of times Racerx was also paying us to do videos for them. So, luckily we had this pot of money that would, help us create a shitload of content for a bunch of different brands. And obviously that's what helped propel Vurb to be at the forefront, because we're there and somehow managed to do a shitload of different content for different people. And I mean, we've always hit deadlines, so nobody ever complained.
Yeah, it's been amazing what you guys have done, and just the what I enjoy are the stories that you guys tell when you get you and the Vurb crew around a table, whether it's with Weege or somebody else, and just the stuff that you guys have been through, and I mean, a couple of times you've told
we had a good
struggle.
time. We did it right.
Yeah, no doubt. It's you'll have to write a book one day. Hey, when we come back, we've got Wes Williams, the godfather of moto video, and we're going to talk about the return of Vurb. We'll be right back after we check out a few of the guys and gals that support this show. Hey, big shout out to our friends at FMF. Little D and the guys are always doing some pretty exciting things, not just with the performance products, but man, they've got the coolest apparel in the game, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to get that at a little bit of a discount. If you go to FMF and pick up any gear you'd like, hats, shirts, whatever it is, upon checkout, if you enter the code MMP30, MMP30, you can get 30% off. So MMP30 at checkout and get 30% off your order on FMF apparel. All right, welcome back. Again, we've got Wes Williams with Vurb Moto and pretty much any other great moto video that you have seen over the years. Wes, you've worked with a lot of athletes, and something that I've heard you touch on a little bit that I want to dive into before we get to Vurb is you guys have unprecedented access to athletes, not because they're forced to give you that access, but from what I've gathered, it's you've got this level of trust with guys like Roxon and Webb and all these guys that you've probably followed around since they were kids at Loretta's. How big of an advantage has that given you to be able to tell the story that you want to tell, to bring to people like myself and all the other moto fans? What has that done for your videos?
I mean, I think it's invaluable. It's priceless, but it goes back to when we started Vurb, or even before that. I mean, the first shots I have of Cooper Webb and Jason Anderson are from 03 and 04. Growing up with those guys gives me a crazy advantage over anybody else. Like, you can't just hire a production company to come in and follow around Cooper or Ken. Like you said, it's the trust level. It's well over 15 years of that dynamic of working together, and them knowing, like, I've been around for crazy conversations. I don't give a shit to go on Vital and tell anybody what I hear or put those things in the video. Like, there's that mutual respect, and they know that I know the line that can't cross. They know I'm always trying to push that boundaries, but it's definitely a dynamic that we know well with each other. And whether it's Barsha, Webb, Roxon, Eli Tomac, I think everybody just remembers those Vurb days, and just having that level of familiarity with each other. Even though I don't work with Tomac all the time or Barsha all the time, we're still great friends back then. And now, we'll always bullshit around. And obviously I shoot a ton for Red Bull, so I'm not following around the monster guys all that often. But, especially in Salt Lake City, I had time to just sit down and banter with them at the track, because, I'm never usually at the test track with those guys. So it was fun to go over there and just bullshit with them and, talk about the old times. And especially with Vurb coming back, they're like, oh man, Vurb's back. When are we shooting again? So
awesome.
for me, that's something that's super exciting is, getting to go shoot with my old friends again, and even the new crop of amateur riders. Like I somewhat feel a little out of touch with, especially the younger guys. Like I still know the A and B class pretty well in the AM ranks, but beyond that, it's like I'm going to really have to deep dive into going and meeting those guys again. But imagine 5 or 10 years from now, having those relationships built again will only help me even more in the pro ranks yet again.
So Vurb is officially back, and what's funny is the way that I found out about it. You and Brent and Chase were talking to myself and my team about working with you guys on another project, and we kind of gone back and forth, and that's how you and I had officially met, was just through one of those Zoom calls. And and then one day you guys kind of came to the table and you're like, hey, so a little bit of a turn, we're going to bring back Vurb. And the Josh, who's on my sales team, who is learning quickly about moto, didn't really understand what that meant. When you guys said that, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And cool. You didn't make the announcement for several weeks or months after that. So that was how I found out about it. And obviously we kept it quiet, and then you guys made the official announcement, and it's just been boiling over with people stoked and excited about it. So talk to us about the return of Vurb. What's different now than in the past that you guys are going to be able to make this work, and that made it make sense to give it another run in the first place?
Yeah, so Brent and I actually started. Brent Stalla, who was actually co-founder with me back in 2007, it was him and I, and then Andrew Campo, that kind of all brought our heads together back then to start it. Brent and I started talking about it again in like 2018. And a few puzzle pieces just slowly kept falling into place throughout the past few years. And then finally, we had a few different ideas, and the whole genesis was just bringing back a throwback style IG, like 90s motocross or 2000 motocross, and just posting cool throwback stuff and having that kind of be the Vurb name. Or originally it wasn't even going to be Vermoto, but luck would have it that we called our old partners, and they saw the void in motocross, and they loved what Vurb was, what it could still become, and they knew Brent and I would take good care of it. So really grateful to our old partners for allowing that to happen, and us to being able to buy all the rights back, because a lot of times when businesses go south, there's never a chance for return. So when they gave us the blessing to go after this, Brent and I were just over the moon, and I think the world is too now. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know. We're obviously super excited, but to answer your question about like what's different now, I think we used to build content and hope people would support us, but we did that. We did it for 10 years, and I think it works when you're 18 to 27, when you don't have house payments, you don't have kids, you're not worried about a car payment, whatever it is. I didn't have a shitload of bills at the time, and not, Brent's even grown up. He's got 2 kids and a wife, and everything. So I don't know. Life happened to a lot of us. So you couldn't live off of $1,000 or $2,000 a month anymore. You had to make a real living. So now we're hoping that because of what we did, people know what we can do, what we still want to do. So we flipped it on and said, we hope people support us in order to allow us to go build the content. Like I'm not going to go shell out 50 grand out of my own pocket again to go build all this content and hope people will come buy t-shirts. It's like, right. We're only going to do as much as the people will allow us to do, in a sense.
Sure. Yeah. So you guys officially relaunched. Are there any further official plans in the work? I mean, obviously everything is on hold as we record this right now, and you have COVID-19 going on. But I mean, is the plan to, hey, we're kicking things back off at Loretta's this year, or what's that look like? Anything we can expect?
Yeah. Well, what's cool is even in Salt Lake, we've actually shot a few Vurb originals that we have in the can, and through our Vurb Red program that we launched out there too. I've been working with a handful of new creatives that were never part of Vurb originally, and new younger guys that I've noticed have good eyes, good editing skills, and it's taken a little while to catch up, but over the course of the next few months, we're actually going to have a lot of really cool videos, a lot of really cool content, and even on the riding side, photography side, it's just really kind of getting that network back in place that we used to have, and kind of figuring out how to navigate it. When we announced the Red program, I got 300 emails, which I haven't even begun to look through. So it's like, we got a lot of people that want to do stuff. I just have to figure out the system of being able to, efficiently house all this stuff and help people bring it to the level that it needs to be, that we want it to be for Vurb. Because we don't want to be like we used to be with Vurb, post 8 things a day, just everything that we get our hands on. I want everything to have that. I want, when you come to Vurb, it needs to have that they posted it, I need to click on it.
Yeah.
Deal, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I don't want to post fluff anymore. We want to be this elite, cool brand where, you come to Vurb and everything is worthy of your eyeballs.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we start to wrap things up, I want to get your take on this. Obviously, with this being the Moto Marketing Podcast, I like to get the opinions of the different professionals that I bring on, and I think you're the guy for this. So obviously, video is king in today's world. I mean, I don't watch television like I used to. I watch YouTube, and I watch, whether it's your content or whoever's content it is, I watch video, and that video, even when it's not a traditional ad, which Red Bull's content is never an ad, but Red Bull's content always influences people to attach themselves to that brand, i.e. go to the gas station and buy the drink over the Monster Claw. That is what happens when you put really great content out like that. So for somebody that's maybe having a hard time connecting the dots of, and we'll just make up a brand, this is somebody we do a lot of work with, Factory Effects, right? They make awesome graphics. They work with a lot of the pros, but how do I, being Factory Effects, create content that's not, hey, go to our website, design custom graphics and put them on your bikes? How do I create content that people are going to want to watch and justify that? And that's exactly what it seems like you do. You tell stories. You're not creating an advertisement. What's your input on leveraging video for that and telling the story of whomever it may be? Do you have an input on that?
I mean, it's hard to say because, for me, I can go create video and it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But for someone else that calls me, I'm expensive. The people that we use are expensive. It's not easy to create high-end video could tell that story in a cheap way. Like, even just traveling somewhere costs a lot of money. And, in our industry, a lot of times it's hard to have the amount of money it takes to build next level content. Whether it's hiring Garth Milan or Ryan Swanberg, like, it costs a lot of money to hire the top end professionals. Well, not in our sport, but any sport or in general. So it's tough to say, but that's definitely, like, with Vurb, I want to leverage our skills with we're going to have a few ad partners that we allow to come on board. We're not going to have a shitload back in the day. I want to work intricately with, a handful of companies that I can actually say, hey, let Factory Effects, I have this idea for video, and because you're one of our few partners, I want to be able to help you on the video side because I'm already at a ton of these places. Mm-hmm. Let's come up with these ideas together. And, hopefully I'm at MTF and we have one of your kids is at MTF. I'm going to get clips of this kid doing this, this, and this. And we have this great, brilliant marketing campaign that we're going to be able to put together on the back end of it and actually utilize my skill sets and the places that we're already at to kind of piggyback, things that will help our potential ad partners on that side. So, again, it's just hard for, say a Factory Effects to, oh yeah, let's just send that crew down for 3 or 4 days to go do this. Like, it's nobody expensive. Can afford it unless you're a Red Bull or a super high end company. Like, it's just not it's not a feasible thing to get that level of quality. So,
look, for anybody that's listening to this, that's not even near the size of a company as a Factory Effects, let alone a Red Bull or something like that. If you're a small, let's say you're a local motorcycle dealership, you're probably never going to call someone like Wes because he's out of your budget and his book of business is full anyways. So look for that person that was Wes in 2003, meaning the kid that's look for the person that was Luke Nesler in 2007 that understood video, that was trying to get his feet wet, that loved the sport, that can help you tell that story. You can still leverage video and model after what guys like Wes are doing and see how they're telling the story of the Justin Barcias and the Cooper Webbs, whatever it is, or for Red Bull. But I love what you have.
Hopefully through our Vurb Red program, we'll be able to do that. Again, I've already started working with like 2 or 3 guys right now, and I've been talking to them a lot, helping watch the videos, sending them notes of like, hey, do this differently on the camera side of things, shooting side of things, editing side of things.
So you're grooming a new crop of content creators.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and guys that don't cost an arm and a leg, you know, again, like you just said, the 2003, 18-year-old me, that is able to go do those things without costing an arm and a leg, that are super passionate and driven to learn and succeed. So yeah, hopefully through that program, you know, the people like a local motorcycle dealership might be able to find a kid like Seth Hedgie and be like, this is exactly what we want. He's got creative ideas and he's learning a lot through this program. And yeah, hopefully, you know, by the time it's all said and done, we have 10 or 15 creatives over the next year that are really able to take advantage of the footprint that they're able to follow, and the advice that we're able to give and chase a career doing what we've been lucky enough to figure out. Like, you know, it's definitely not an easy path, but yeah, I mean, if there's anything, the persistence and the passion is what got me to this, you know, to the point I am today. So, you know, there was a lot of years of not making any money, a lot of years of eating nothing but peanut butter and jelly and waiting on checks to put gas in the motorhome to get to the next place. So, you know, persistence is key, and you know, gotta love it too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Wes, I'm excited to see what you guys do, and obviously let's all get through 2020 and make 2021 a great year. But where can we follow you and the Vurb guys online? What social channels are you guys hitting the heaviest right now?
So we're not adopting quite the new age tech yet, so I think we're going to stick to the traditional platforms of Instagram, MySpace, Facebook, and Twitter, and the good old vurbmoto.com. So
there you go.
Everything's just at vurbmoto. And hey, we'll see. Well, we're going to Mill Creek here in a few weeks. So I'm going to brush off the cobwebs for some amateur racing. Me and Will Posey are going to go out there and get back to the roots, figure out how to shoot 4,500 classes in a weekend.
Wow.
Figure out how to make cool videos again and
oh man.
Copy and paste that at Loretta's a few weeks later. So we're about to have a lot of fun and get back to what Vurb used to be.
That's awesome. Well, we're all looking forward to it, man. I appreciate you jumping on and talking to us today. And we'll look to see what Vurb does, and we're excited for it. So can't wait. Appreciate you being on.
Viva la Vurb, baby.
There you go, brother. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Moto Marketing Podcast. If your goal is to get real, measurable results from your marketing that will grow your company revenue, then check out how Impakt Media can get the same results that they have for Moto's most iconic brands by visiting thinkimpakt.com. That's THINKIMPAKT.com. Have a marketing question that you want answered on the show? Send your questions to questions@motomarketingpodcast.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast.